I'm all right. Hell no. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
Steer from the 3. Streaks across the 30. He might be gone.
It's up. Desmond to the right. Oh,
they got blockers. They got blockers. They've got a lane.
Into the end zone. Touchdown, Miami. Darrell Langham with the grab.
Stars intercepted. Look out. Trajan Bandy, the true freshman. We got the truth again.
Because when the U is on and the U brings it, there's nothing like it. We got to get there. And it's going to take everybody.
What's up, Canes fan? Welcome to another episode of the Miami Knights podcast. And this week, we are coming to you on a Victory Monday, all right? A little different vibes than we had last week. Got back on the W train. Miami beat Stanford 42-7. They improved to 6-1 on the season. They are bowl eligible. Huge to be bowl eligible. Let's give them a hand for that. If we lost the remaining games today, I think, and I apologize for cat noises in the background, disaster has struck in early. But if we lose all of our games from here on out, I expect to be in the what do we think? Probably Shreveport, Louisiana. What is we've been in that bowl a few times, but I think we have
been in the Sun Bowl a few times out in Texas.
Sun Bowl, that's another classic.
Horrible
what
game.
is the one
it's
in why am I blanking on the Shreveport Bowl?
Is that the what's the restaurant? Walk-Ons? Is it the Walk-Ons Bowl now?
I might have changed. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, we have bigger dreams ahead of us than that. As always, joining you here, I'm Joe, joined with Kurt. Jimmy is not here. Whether or not you like that or not as a listener, that Jimmy's not here. No, I'm just kidding. We of course miss him. He says he's studying. So he is in law school, as he has mentioned before, and he's studying. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. You know,
drinking that game water, man.
Yeah. Here's I think he's too busy worrying about Georgia this week. You know, here's what I would say. This is I'm going to start the show with this, and I'm thinking this is why maybe Jimmy's not here. I'm going to start the show with looking around at some of our fans' posts, tweets, and texts. I found two. You could say these are early best of X, best of whatever.
Yep.
I have one that says Miami Hurricane season is over.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have another text that says Mario is losing me. Folks, these came internal from Miami Knights. First one was Kurt. Second one was Jimmy. This was in the first half of the Miami-Stanford game. So maybe that's why Jimmy's not here. I don't know. But Kurt, you have the opportunity to defend yourself and where your headspace was when that text was sent.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I will use my child as an excuse. We went up to Orlando this week, and a lot of people were telling me, "Oh, my kids, babies love the car. Babies love the car. If we wanted to calm the baby or quiet the baby down, I'd throw her in the car seat and drive around, drive up the road." She does not like the car at all, and really does not like the car. And we were driving back at kickoff, and I've got it up on my phone. I'm driving. I'm almost home after a nice weekend, but just a little exhausted. And I mean, listen, we're obviously going to get into it, but just quickly, like, I just thought the first half was an abomination, and I was already thinking about, like, how am I going to lead the show? What am I going to say coming onto the show, this week, coming off of it? Just, I jumped. It was ugly, man. I mean, it was ugly. I was so disappointed in the way that we started the game, and it felt like a Carson Beck interception was coming, and it felt fortunate, that he didn't throw one on that first drive. But listen, it was a prisoner of the moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Mario is losing me seems worse, in my opinion.
Oh, it
You
was
know,
definitely.
I just, but
I was shocked when I
no,
received that text.
yeah, it was. I was reeling. I mean, 100. I really like. I thought the first half was brutal, and come to see later on, once we got home and settled back in, and the Canes started winning again, I felt comfortable opening up my X app, and boy, were there a lot of takes from our fan
Wow.
base in that first half.
I mean, here's the thing. Yes, I agree. The first half was frustrating. I think also what made it more frustrating was just it's coming off of the Louisville game,
100%.
and then it's coming off of the fourth quarter of the FSU game. So it was just snowballing into this,
Yep.
and you're just like, what is wrong with this team right now?
Yep.
But then you kind of take a deep breath at halftime and realize Miami dominated that first half on the stat sheet, and there was like a few big mistakes that happened in that first half that made that a 7-7 ball game. But it was one of those things where it's like I I expected us to go out and dominate the second half, which we did. But yeah, I was having to talk my dad and Jimmy off the ledge at halftime. Both pretty fired up. Jimmy, though, more so. I mean, Mario is losing me. That's a dark spot to be in. And I did say, I said, how can you? This is what I told Jimmy. I said, how can you say that after what we've been through the last 20 years that you're saying Mario is losing you? My dad was quick to say, don't. You got to give Mark Richt some credit. Every time I say the last 20 years, I lump all that in. He's big on defending Richt, and he's right. We had some nice moments with him. I think if Richt was able to, if he was able to like stay healthy and stuff, we would have been rolling with him. But he brought us some great memories. But yeah, Jimmy's not here to defend himself. I think that's why he bailed on this thing last second. He realized he talked a lot. He was very negative. The X, formerly known as Twitter, very negative. We've got some crazy fans.
I will say, I will defend Jimmy and the Miami fan base a little in saying the hot take, like lack of patience, prisoner of the moment overreaction in college football is spreading like a disease, like an airborne illness right now. I mean, as we hop on here, 40 minutes ago, did Brian Kelly get fired from LSU? And I'm not a Brian Kelly fan, and I'm not even going to advocate that he shouldn't have been. But it's like, I mean, we got coaches who have like 650 winning percentages getting canned like they're high school coaches now. So listen, it's I was thinking on the ride home today from work, I've swung really far in the opposite direction, and I think Mario should be borderline untouchable for Miami. I think he's proven. This is not to say that he's like the best coach in the country or what. I think he's great, and I think we have. He has proven to me that he knows how to build the roster, and if you can build the roster in college football, then everything is attainable at some point. I mean, I think that's what we're seeing. It's not the X's and O's thing is like, look at Dabo at Clemson. It's about the roster. It's about the players. When you have a Deshaun Watson or a Trevor Lawrence and all the receiver, when you factor all that in, that's ultimately what matters the most. And so to me, Mario has proven that he can do that. And so I want to leave alone. I don't want to have to think about a head coach for a long time.
Exactly. I'm the same way. It's like what Mario has proven that he can do. That's what we need at Miami. There's going to be negatives with it. He's not a perfect coach.
It's going to be a roller coaster.
It's going to be a roller coaster, but the pros with him way outweigh the cons. And just the fact that it looks like we are going to be a consistent team year after year and a consistent winning team. Like, again, and I'm not trying to settle. I know that the bar for Miami excellence is high, but we won 10 games last year, and we haven't done that many times in the last 20 years. and we're sitting 6-1 now. We just blew out Stanford, and now we control our own destiny for the rest of the season with a favorable schedule in front of us. Like, we're in a good spot, and just so the amount of people that I saw just bashing Mario, it's insane to me. But Jimmy can come on here, and I know he was definitely if he was on here right now, he would. I know he would be taking some of those statements back. He'd probably have a good explanation for it, but he's not. So I'm just going to take it as Jimmy wants Mario fired. You heard it here first, folks. Okay, let's get into this. Kurt, you got our storm. Oh my gosh, I always forget what we call this segment. Aftermath report is what you've got for us this week. Go for it.
That's right. This is my aftermath report this week is going to be an ode to the Captain Andrew Luck Twitter account.
Nice.
Dearest Mother, after sending the Seminole tribe back to Florida's state capital in shambles, we have ventured cross-country to the Great Peninsula State and made our way south. We traveled through the world of Disney in awe of the great castle and chain of lakes, past the great lake of Okeechobee, and through the land of golf in Palm Beach, ultimately landing in a most obscene place referred to as South Beach. In little time, we understood we had overshot our place of battle with the men who refer to themselves as hurricanes. As we arrived in Miami Gardens, the men were startled to find a racing track and tennis courts with little vegetation to speak of. Our hosts arrived in uniform resembling that of the men in West Point, but it was of little concern, for the men found their footing rather quickly. Striking first and providing a strong line of defense, the Hurricane men felt more like a tropical depression. At halftime, General Cristobal and his offensive colonel Dawson must have discovered the lost tapes of Hal Mummy and the late Mike Leach, for our defense started to cede ground to this spread offense. A young local hero, barely old enough to enlist, proved too much to contain as he severed our lines on multiple occasions on both special teams and offense. The men ultimately buckled under waves of attack by the superior opposition, and in the end, we leave in decisive defeat.
I mean, beautiful.
Wanted to switch it up a little bit this week.
I love it. Is that Twitter account still active? I used to love that account.
I know. I honestly don't know. I didn't even check to see if that guy is still alive and well.
Barely old enough to enlist. That was the chain of lakes. Gosh, and lack of vegetation at Hard Rock. Mm-hmm. Very true.
Yeah.
There's very few trees and grass. A lot of asphalt.
A lot of
concrete.
Place is just hotter than hell.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is the Aftermath report, sponsored by FEMA. And yeah, let's get into it. We'll start off our recap. I think it's easier to start off the recap with Storm Awards. So let's get into Storm Awards, and then we'll take it from there. But give me, Kurt, your hurricane of the week from this week.
Yeah, I was really pleased to see Mark Fletcher step back up in this game. And, ultimately he's my cane of the week. I think the way that, we were persistent with him. And, as I mentioned, like at halftime, I don't know if someone got Shannon Dawson's attention or if I just can't. I've seen at times, I've seen this with Auburn and with Gus Malzahn, is the absolute persistence and just the boneheadedness of wanting to run the ball up the middle every time. It just blows my mind. And I started to really feel frustrated for Mark Fletcher, because I think this guy really is one of the best running backs in the country. I think it's been amazing to see him grow. He was really raw as a freshman, but he was obviously good. And I feel like he's a combination of power and speed now. That is, it's pretty special. And so it was nice in the second half. We finally started running outside the tackles a little bit. We were able to just ultimately just continue to lean on Stanford's front. And I thought he was just spectacular. Obviously, the over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns was pretty terrific. So Mark Fletcher is my cane of the week.
Yeah, I love it. I think the idea of having to tackle Mark Fletcher late in the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter when you have just been beaten and bruised the whole game, that sounds absolutely miserable. And the man looks for contact. He wants to truck you. He's not looking to like bounce things to the outside and get out of bounds. He is looking for contact. He's looking for violence. Yeah, he's a phenomenal ball carrier. And don't want to jinx him here. I've been very into all the superstitions lately with this Miami team. In fact, the moment I started standing during this game, it was pretty much start of the third quarter, I didn't sit, and we started playing well, so I stood the entire second half. I have to do my part. We all have to do our part. I have to do my part for this team. But don't want to jinx Mark Fletcher, but when he first was a freshman, like when he was first came on the team, he had a little bit of a fumbling problem, not a big one, but just like there occasionally ball got loose. That seems to be all cleared up. Like this man takes hits. You've got them trying to do the punch, that new move everyone's doing of punching the football out, and it's just not working against him. So I've been loving what I'm seeing.
I think you're right. He actually did. Do you remember he had a run in the fourth quarter, I think, where on the TV it looked like if he kept going outside, like he broke all the way to the secondary level.
Yes.
And it was like, okay, it's a walk-in touchdown, and he turned up into
and he just turned and beeline straight into somebody. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. I'm going to go and it's rinse and repeat between two guys really every season, every week. But I gotta stay with the man that's barely old enough to enlist. I gotta go Malachi Toney here. And I mean, it's a flip flop between him and the other guy, but I think Malachi Toney, what can't this man do? He was again consistent in the passing game, 5 of 7, 52 yards. He doesn't drop anything. He runs crisp routes. He had that one great behind the ball was thrown behind him. He didn't even see it, and he snagged it on fourth down. A huge catch to keep that drive going. Yep. And then he on the reverse, he had that 13-yard pickup for a first down where the play was dead in the backfield, and he just made a play. And then twice on punt returns, totaling 73 yards on 2 punt returns. And they were like, it was all him. And I was like, everybody get out of the way. Yeah. Don't even block for him. Just get out of the way.
We had guys chasing him down the field, and it was kind of like, it really was just like, stop.
It was like, it's just him making plays.
Yeah.
Crazy. Every week he finds a new way to impress me. Malachi Toney is my Hurricane of the week.
Yeah.
Tropical Storm of the week. Someone that's just missing your Hurricane. Could have maybe gotten Hurricane of the week, but is still coming in a respectable second place.
I was between two guys here. I'm going to go with Xavier Lucas. I'll give him the nod. He had the big interception, the second interception of the night. Awesome job on that cover 2 and ultimately hawking back towards the football. And he's been really good all season. I think this guy, we've relied on him again. Our corners, we haven't had to say their names very often. And it's just because they're just blankets on the outside. I mean, nobody is beating us deep. They really keeping everything in front of them, tackling on the outside. Even, big plays in the run game. Ultimately, the corner is your last contained guy on the outside. And so really he's done a great job. I don't know if Wisconsin is still trying to sue us, but, up yours to them. He's been a great player and a great addition. Another guy who we have gotten in the transfer portal, but is going to be at Miami for multiple seasons. So really exciting. And happy to see. We needed those turnovers. I know, I'm sure we'll get to this too, but if we went out, it's fine. It's no worries. But I think you start to think about seeding, and style points are going to matter. When you're a 30-point favorite against Stanford, I think it does matter how you win. And the interceptions really obviously propelled us. And 42-7 feels a lot better than 24-7, right? So in my eyes, it was still a big time play and big time turnovers.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and just seeing the way that game ended and with those turnovers, that it was good to see a team not like we didn't let up like we've seen us do in the past against FSU. We saw it, and like teams kind of creep back in, and it's like, oh, we've just played a sloppy fourth quarter. No, or even our second, third string guys came in there, executed. And you're right. I mean, at this point, you do want to be able to dominate teams because we see some of the bias that happens in the polls and the rankings, and fair or not fair, it is what it is. And I can't tell you the amount of people that were just posting the halftime score of this game. And it's like football, there's 4 quarters. Like, can we just wait to the end of the game to make judgments on any team in any game? And then, 42-7. So smoke that. Smoking a pancake. I would say my tropical storm player of the week. I mean, my other hurricane of the week was going to be Ruben Bain. The guy was just an absolute animal in the backfield. But I feel like I can't even give him tropical storm. If it's going to be hurricane of the week or nothing with him, I'm going to go. Yeah, it really is. I'm going to go Armando Blunt. I think
that was my other one. I'm glad you said that.
I think with Akeem Mesidor being hurt this week, and we had to see our depth on our defensive line and what can they do. Armando Blunt stepped up. We've been seeing flashes of him, but this was a really, really good game. He had 2 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 2 quarterback pressures, didn't miss a single tackle. He just was he seemed to be everywhere when he was in, just wreaking havoc on the line. And I was just really happy to see, because it's someone that we have high hopes for. And he went out there and played very well in a game that we really needed our defensive line that had some injuries, had kind of gotten beat up, didn't look as dominant against Louisville that we wanted them to. And boy, did they just ate this game.
Yep. I love it. Yeah, I don't know. Do you remember he's a Miami Central guy. Do you remember his recruitment was a really funky one. He was committed to Miami for a while and then flipped to Florida State. And then I believe on signing day, he was still committed technically to Florida State and ultimately signed with us. And you never know how those guys are going to shake out, especially he was not an immediate he wasn't immediately thrust into any sort of playing time. So I'm totally with you. I think this defensive line unit as a whole, because you could even throw Marquise Lightfoot in there. I think this D-line unit is just going to continue to reload, and it's very exciting.
Yes, sir. Okay. There was a lot of good on the field. We'll get into some of it a little bit more, but tropical depression of the week, because there was also bad. There was definitely bad.
Yeah. I wrote
Jimmy
down
it was Mario Cristobal getting fired bad.
I wrote down a name, but I think I'm actually going to pivot here and be a little harsh. Maybe. I'm curious to see what you think about this, but I'm going to go with Carson Beck.
Interesting. Okay.
It's more of a what I'm watching his body language. I don't see the same conviction throwing the ball that I saw the first month of the season. And I'm not going to lie, I'm still feeling a little concerned with Carson Beck and where his head is at. I kind of briefly mentioned it earlier, but like that first deep ball that he threw to Malachi Toney, that was just like a punt to the middle of the field, kind of away from everyone. But like it looked like a panic deep shot. I think he had a couple throws where it's the footwork to me. It's the footwork starts to dance and he starts to get that back pedal and doesn't step into his throws. And I just, Stanford had that big tip where they tipped it like 3 times, and I thought that was going to be intercepted. The fourth down throw that you referenced, it was an unbelievable catch by Malachi Toney, but like Carson Beck was afraid to step into that throw and lead him to the outside. And I think he had a couple throws to the outside towards the numbers where he just didn't lead guys, and there just wasn't much conviction when he was throwing the ball. And I'm a little concerned.
I agree. I think what I liked from Carson Beck was he did hit the check down more than we saw against Louisville. There was times he was looking deep. You could tell wasn't there. He hit the check down. It was good. But I do agree on the tip ball. If that ball wasn't tipped, it's a clean interception.
Yeah.
I mean, the throw was never there. Like, I don't know what he saw, but thank God it was tipped.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, every time that there's pressure, it's the back pedal throwing off your back foot, float something, and it just can't happen. We can't have that. And I agree with the body language. It's tough. Like on the Malachi Toney one, he was basically saying Malachi Toney was supposed to run a post deep, and it's like maybe, but it's still just none of it made any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so I agree. I'm still not completely comfortable right now with Beck. I think SMU is going to be a big game. Like, we just have to continue to see him making smart decisions, and yeah, like we can't have. He's just been bad under pressure, and
this was a Stanford
he took
team
off
that was
running the one time, which was good, but
yep. This
What were you gonna say?
Stanford team was missing 4 starters at all 4 positions in the secondary.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just not. It's not the. It's really interesting to me. That's the reason why I think it's just all mental, and I can't quite understand if he's still hanging on to the interceptions that started to pile up after USF, but just not the same guy. He doesn't carry himself the same as the Notre Dame game.
yeah.
And that's just strange to me because he's got so many weapons at his disposal. I think we saw listen, I love Kevin, like we talk, like I love Kevin Beard and I love this entire coaching staff, and so I don't know the reasoning for the cycling of the receiving core, but like this was like a Tony Johnson game for a little bit, and then Josh Moore. Listen, 4 for 38 is, if you're box score watching, isn't going to pop out, but Josh Moore jumps off the screen
Every time.
Is he
Every
not
time.
This
Yeah,
man,
he was going to be. He was
Dude.
also on my list as a potential tropical storm of the week.
his range, he's got CJ Daniels' range. He can catch the ball anywhere you throw it. And I thought we haven't gotten to see him open it up and run with speed. And we heard the baby Andre Johnson thing. The pass he caught in was it the third or his longest run of the night? He caught I think a tunnel screen, and he started to hit full stride. And I was like, wow, this guy can move too. So I get the quarterbacks.
Yeah, it was good to
you're
see.
throwing to these guys. You got to have confidence.
Right. I mean, Marion was the first drop issue we've had all season. And Marion's been good all season, so it was unfortunate to see those drops, but it was nice to be able to be like, all right, he doesn't have it tonight. Tony Johnson, you're the guy tonight. Josh Moore. We even saw JoJo Trader in the fourth quarter. Did not get a catch, but by God did we see him. So yeah, I think I mean, it's not the receiving core. He's getting time from he has protection. It does seem like a confidence thing, and hopefully it just keeps building. I think, thank God that ball wasn't picked, because he did start playing better after that. There was cleaner throws. He made a lot of good throws, but There is a lot left to be desired with Carson Beck. I'm going to go my tropical depression of the week. It's what everybody's talking about. It's this run up the middle. It's the run up the A gap. So for the most part, I like being a team that can run up the middle. I think it's good to be able to run the football up the middle, pound and ground, get the short yardages when you can, and really wear teams out that way. What I don't like, and where I think our staff is at this point, and where I think Dawson is, they have the mentality that they're like, if you know we're going to run up the middle, you're going to do everything you can to stop us running up the middle, and we're still going to do it, and you can't stop us. The problem is teams are stopping it. Like, if it's 4th and 1, and everybody in the stadium knows you're running this ball in the middle, and you get stopped, you can never do that again. We're simply not good enough. I think we're seeing that with our center. Our center is not good enough to be able to do that, to run that play when everybody knows you're about to do it. He gets blown up. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm fine with the first half, the methodical running and trying things, and it seems slow. It can be annoying, but then you see later in the games and teams are worn out and we really just start bullying them. Like, I get all of that, but you have to be able to throw wrinkles in there because we're simply not good enough. As hard as it is for them to admit, we're not good enough to do it when you know we're going to do it. If you're like, without a shadow of doubt, this team's going to run to the middle, we're going to get stopped. Like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. It's again, like with Gus Malzahn, you see it until you can't believe it anymore. And it looks worse when you're in the shotgun and you're already ceding 4.5 yards, 5 yards on the play. And then to get it blown up, you're just like, because it'll never look like it had a chance. Right. And, it's just, it would feel better if you just got in the I formation. That's 100%. That's what's strange is like, if you want to play big boy football, get in the I. All right, fine. Then we'll do that.
And what's interesting is when we do get in the I, it looks great.
Yeah.
And we execute, and usually it's like goal line situation. We get in the I, and it looks great. Like, I would way rather not make a 4th and 1 and be in the I formation than I would seeing Carson Beck. Looks like not only is he in shotgun, it looks like he's in punt formation. That's what it feels like taking the snap. Mm-hmm. And or it's like, do we have Beck's a big guy? Can we sneak him at all?
I know.
I know. The shotgun 4th and 1 run straight into the center's back has got. I can't ever see that play again. That has to go.
No, think about how dumb. Like, it's one of those like, why have we gone so far in the other direction? Because if you sat down with Shannon Dawson and you're like, look, there's one of two ways you can run this play. The quarterback and the running back can stand 4.5, 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage, and the running back, the ball has to get back there. Then the quarterback can hand it to the running back, who is pretty much static, just standing there, right, inviting the defensive line to hit him. Or you can go under center. You can bring in a fullback, who we have that big Samoan guy who plays fullback. He looks like he's monstrous, or he's like a bowling ball. Yeah. And the running back, Mark Fletcher, can get a head of steam. He can get the ball going 60% into the A gap. Like, don't overthink this. It's not that complicated. It's still football. Come on. I just don't get it.
And again, being able to run up the middle out of shotgun like we do is important throughout the game, and being able to I think there's a lot of good happening there. But on those plays where everybody in the world knows we're running it, we cannot do it. It's crazy. If it was like, they know we're running it, they can't stop it, great. But that's not what's happening here. Every game we get stuffed on a 4th and 1 like that, and it's just, I'm bashing my head against the wall watching it.
Yeah.
So having said that, it did seem like we made a lot of nice adjustments at half, including on the offense, it was a lot of similar, but we did spread things out a little bit. There was different types of runs happening. We were hitting guys in the flats on kind of like quick routes because Stanford was sending a lot. They were stacking a box. They were running the same game plan we seen against FSU, saw against Louisville. It's the game plan people are going to run against Miami. But I think execution in the second half was so much better, and the play calling honestly was better.
Yeah, I think that is a dynamic in college football that, at least to me, it has started to change. Is that there's not as many identities, like individual identities with coaching staffs anymore. There's a lot of like copy and paste. It's like what worked for FSU, Louisville does, and then what worked for Louisville, Stanford does. And there's like there's a few wrinkles here and there, but like I agree with you. Like I saw Stanford running a lot of the same blitzes that Louisville did and walking guys up to the line of scrimmage. And I read a quote before the game. I don't think I have it on my phone anymore, but Shannon Dawson kind of avoided a question after the Louisville game of like, is anything going to change? And he was like,
what it is.
Yeah, he said it is what it is, but he also said, I don't want to say anything too much, you'll see it in the games. And I think at the beginning of the game, it was just like, what's going on? It's funny. On the flip side of the ball, it's like scripted drives are basically all Corey Heatherman is conceding. Like he's telling the opposing, it's the exact opposite. He's telling the opposing team, go ahead and show us what you're going to do, and we'll give you the first drive of the game. And after that, you will get nothing. You will get absolutely nothing. And our offense is like, we're going to tiptoe around the opening drive and mess around, and then we'll probably figure it out later. And it's an interesting dynamic what we got going on. It's obviously not sustainable. The offense needs to get it going sooner. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think I saw a lot of the same things that Stanford was doing that Louisville did, and ultimately at halftime we figured it out, and so kudos. Yeah. It's still a credit to Shannon Dawson for figuring it out. But
for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, we scored 42 points. And then, like, a lot of people are pointing, it's like, oh, well, we had interceptions, we had great field position, but it's like, that's all part of it. Like, that's just part of football and part of offenses in general. Like,
you can still do nothing with great field position. We have seen that many times.
Yes. I think, too, I agree it's not sustainable in the instance, like, it's an offense that we have to be playing ahead. It's just not an offense that we can be trailing. And I think why the games are 4 quarters is we see this offense in the third and fourth quarter. We see kind of the fruits of the labor that happened in the first half. The problem is these teams are, the way that you beat Miami is you basically shorten the game. You make Miami trail early. And before you know, it's like, it's late in the third quarter, and we've hardly had any possessions. We're losing now. And it just throws us off schedule. Like the offense, when this offense is ahead, it's lights out. Like it's a great offense. But when we trail early and we get down 2 scores, maybe like Louisville, that's when we're in trouble. So agree. I don't mind the methodicalness of it, but I need to see more in the first. We just need to score more points in the first half. Like one way or another, we gotta jump on teams a little faster and get ahead a little earlier, because we're going to find that team like Louisville that catches a few breaks early. Before you know it, we're down 14. It's like, this is just not the type of offense that Dawson and Cristobal like to run.
Yep. And I will say too, though, like this is the second game in a row now where an opening drive penalty essentially killed the drive.
Yeah.
And
I'm just brought that up.
I'm sick of watching it. It is when you go from 2nd and 4 to 2nd and 9, that affects the second down play call. It affects the third down play call. I mean, and then all of a sudden, now all of a sudden you're punting and you're like, we gained 6 yards on first down. And it just completely takes the wind out of your sails. A pre-snap penalty at home, a false start. What are we doing?
It just can't happen. And again, with the way our offense is, we're an offense that we like on the ground. We're going to pick up 3 to 4 yards. We just have to stay ahead of the chains.
Mm-hmm.
We will do that if we don't have penalties.
Yep.
Penalties kill us.
Yep.
I will say I was happy on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Blay had a terrible encroachment penalty, but I was happy that he was immediately taken out. You're not going to play the next snap if you make a penalty like that.
Yeah.
I was happy to see that. Blay actually, the guy can be frustrating. He actually made some nice plays too. He's kind of crazy. I don't really know what to think of Blay at this point. But
I know. I almost made him my depression of the week, but I couldn't. You said it perfectly. His game was like he would make you want to rip your hair out, and then you're like, oh wow, good sack.
Yeah. What else from this game do we want to talk through? I mean, I will. If you went on Twitter only, we lost. It's just crazy. We won 42-7. Like I can't really wrap my head around that.
Yeah. I mean, I think in general, I think our special teams is pretty awesome. I think Joyce is a good punter, and those are little things that matter, especially when you do have an offense like Miami and, the committing to the ground bit or even the penalty bit, it puts us behind a lot. It's important to flip the field. And then Malachi Toney has just, we're going on like, he's almost had nearly 3 punt returns in his last 2 games now.
Oh, I can't wait till he gets. He's going to get.
I know. I'm ready for him to break one. And I talked to a guy today, like in the old school Heisman, like how we grew up, was like the flashy guy who you could put together like a YouTube compilation of. That was the guy who was going to win the Heisman probably.
Exactly.
And now it's just this weird. I can't even wrap my head around it because Diego Pavia is like, you're thinking like, who's having a better season, Diego Pavia or Haynes King?
Yeah,
it's Haynes
100%
King.
Haynes King. Dude, Diego Pavia, what was his stats in the last game?
We throw for like 110 yards or something. Like,
yeah.
It's the awards become weird. I mean, the guys who are up for it, it's become like a media, like a PR thing.
100%. It's whoever starts the campaign early in the season, and it's all everyone's talking about.
And what I'm getting at is like I'm thinking that like Malachi Toney he's probably been the most explosive player in the country. There's a couple others, but he's been unbelievable. And you don't factor in that he's a freshman for the award, but like he's exploded onto the scene as a true freshman. And he's already had monster games of over 100 yards, multiple touchdowns. It's just, we're seeing him like, to me, I'm thinking we got 5 games left. If this is a guy who can rack up like a couple punt returns, his reverse touchdown against Louisville, like if he can start to rack up these plays and continue to just jump out off the screen, it to me it feels like he should be in that discussion and even be like where we're talking about like him having like some betting value for the Heisman, but it doesn't feel like it's going to happen this year. But I think down the road, just what an unbelievable player he is. I mean, gosh, the guy is so special.
It's crazy. After the game, his interview, you just realize just looking at him, just how young he is. Like he has such a baby face. It's crazy. Right now, Fernando Mendoza is leading the Heisman, and it's like, okay, he is having a special season. Indiana's having a special season. Diego Pavia is 5th right now in Heisman. Diego Pavia this week, 10 of 19, 52.6 completion percentage, 129 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. So it's like, what are we doing here? Carson Beck is on this list, second to last odds-wise of people that have less than plus 10,000 odds to win. He's at plus 7,500. So we'll see.
Tommy
Ruben Bain is
Castellanos on
no
there?
longer on this list. Tommy Castellanos is on some lists, but not this one. Oh boy. Okay. I think the only other thing I wanted to talk about here was a lot of the Mario hatred came out at the end of the first half, not calling timeouts.
Mhm.
How did we feel about that? What were your thoughts on that decision not to use any timeouts there?
I don't think I think people are so hard on Mario. I feel like
Yeah.
they can't the talk on him is like he can't pick his spots, and like it's just like he's constantly wrong with his game management. And I think it's gotten so the conversation around it has gotten so bad and wrong that I think people are having a hard time picking their spots of when to criticize Mario Cristobal for not picking his spots. It's like we saw this in the Louisville game, where it was like what it was a Louisville game where they're playing chicken before halftime, and it's like, do you want to call a timeout, or are they going to go for it on fourth down?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? And it's in this game, in this instance, it's like we had nothing going. We had momentum from the late CJ Daniels touchdown. Okay, listen, it was.
That drive took 9 minutes.
It took forever. That's like, I couldn't think of the number off the top. 9 minutes long. I mean, and it ended in with a fade. Like, we're bringing Mark Rick back, throwing the fade on the goal line on third and goal. Like, I was holding my breath. Like, we're going to kick a field goal.
Not your tallest receiver, but my God, does CJ Daniels make some crazy catches.
He's got awesome hands. It's like we don't have momentum going. I think that's just this is a team that maybe Shannon Dawson's just getting his game plan from Mario Cristobal to some degree. It just the mentality on offense is very methodical, and listen, it doesn't leave a lot of room for error. And you've got to be smart with the football, and you got to pick your spots. And listen, I'm not going to say the offense isn't explosive. Like, could we have scored? Sure, I think we have the playmakers and we have the ability. We call explosive plays. We take deep shots, a lot during these games. But to me, it's just, is it worth it or is it not? And it's like, do you need to force the issue against Stanford? Were we that down bad?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I think you're sitting there and you're like, okay, stats wise, we dominated this half. It's tied. We are the better team. We're like, we know we're going to go out there and win this game. Why risk like them punting the ball to us, anything happening? Because Stanford gets ball at the start of the third quarter anyway. So the worst thing that could possibly happen in those instances is a score, halftime, they get the ball back and score again, a 2-touchdown swing like that. So it's like, it's just, to me, it's not worth the risk. It's not worth the push. I was fine with it, but yeah, I mean, that was like when things were really boiling over with our fans. I really have to, I can't go on Twitter during these games anymore. I mean, people are absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm with you.
Okay. That is Stanford. 6-1. We look ahead.
Mm-hmm.
We've got SMU now. For all intents and purposes, I mean, I am looking at Pitt to close the season. That game kind of worries me more and more as the season goes on, as a big game. But like, this is a huge game for Miami. SMU's coming off of a terrible loss to Wake Forest. The moment I think I understand the ACC, something like that happens. 13-12. Wake Forest hits a field goal that looks like it was no good, just completely bounces off the crossbar, but it rebounded off the bottom of the, I don't even know what happened, but it was good. Field goal good, and yeah, they costed us now it's a noon kickoff, 11 a.m. Dallas time
That's right.
for their homecoming game. It's
Yep.
brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about this?
This is I think the second half of the Canes game, obviously it tipped me the other direction because I was starting to think like, are we going to be? I mean, are we going to be in trouble here? I mean, going on the road and first time out of the state. I did. This is not. I've said all season long, and haven't been concerned about SMU all season long, and it's not really anything that they've done to change my mind. Obviously we know by now that again, it's like their win at Clemson isn't all that spectacular. And this, they're just not quite as dynamic as they were last year. And I think that's the concern with Rhett Lashley is a Gus Malzahn disciple, and I think he's got his own way of calling the offense, and he's built his own identity out in Dallas at SMU. But this is a team that their defense is not spectacular. They still have some Miami castaways on both sides of the ball, which is funny. But it's just they don't do anything ultimately like very outstanding. And I think the noon time slot kind of helps us here. I don't know if you buy into that stuff very much, but like I think they're going to be wearing their all blacks. I believe that this is their homecoming game.
It is, yeah.
And I just kind of think that it takes away some of the buildup and the aura and the energy from this game, it being a noon kick. It just, for us, I just think it might feel more like a business trip. And for them, it might feel more like an early morning. But I mean, listen,
I can buy that. I think too, they're coming off of a really bad loss. Their ACC like season's kind of done. I mean, and we've got everything going, like our whole season's in front of us. This should be a game where it's like we are the more motivated team, we're the better team. Like you said, crowd will be taken out of it a bit. It's going to be subdued. It's not the SMU that we thought we would be getting on November 1st. They have a lot of holes on that team. I do feel good, and I think what you were hinting at too with the second half of this Stanford game is like, all right, we came from the fourth quarter of the FSU game, the whole Louisville game, first half of Stanford, and you're starting to think like, was everything? What was the beginning of this season? Was that just a classic? Like we kind of like struck gold there. We like lightning struck, and we had a special team there to beat some of our big rivals, and that was it. Or do we actually have something with this team? The second half against Stanford's like, oh, wait, we're a good football team. Like, to go and I know Stanford is Stanford and they had injuries and all that, but to go put 35 unanswered on them in the second half, like, it's like, all right, we're a very good football team that can do special things this season, and we've got the players to do it. These are just the kind of games you just got to take care of. I mean, we're almost 2 touchdown favorites. You just got to go out there and take care of business here.
Yeah. That's again, this is another one of those, what is this season going to be? Because there isn't any excuse, Kevin Jennings, his completion percentage has fallen off a cliff since the start of October. This is a guy, he's also not running like at all, Yeah. So I want to see us continue to turn it loose on defense and really get after these guys and put some pressure on them. And, listen though, SMU, the strength of their defense is their run defense. So it's another Carson Beck test. Are we gonna be smart with the football, and is Carson Beck going to be confident? I mean, that's what I'm going to be looking for here.
Yep. Just looking at some of the numbers, I mean, yeah, their offense is definitely SMU's offense is definitely taking a step back. Right now, our defensive numbers are very good. I mean, we're top 10 in categories that you want to really care about.
Yeah.
So I do think we match up very well against them, but it's again, yeah. Let's get into that. Let's get into Eye of the Hurricane, since you mentioned a couple players there that we might be looking at. Who's your Eye of the Hurricane for this one?
It's just it's tough for it not to be Carson Beck. You know, he's just got to be. I want to see that guy who was being decisive with the football again. I want to see that guy. Like, I have a hard time understanding, like, when it's when he was being very, very intentional with where he was steering the football in the month of September, in the first month of the season in particular, and against some great opponents. I mean, the best teams that we've faced so far, right? I just think he was never throwing it into coverage. You were never holding your breath. Every time he took a deep shot, it was with confidence that he knew we had an advantage. And I'm just starting to see that now. It's like it's a little bit of the Tyler Van Dyke. Like, when he does throw deep, it's like, you're waiting for the camera to pan and be like, is there anyone there? So I want to see that decision maker back who's being quick with the ball. His footwork's got to get right. And because ultimately that's going to open up the running game for us, is Carson Beck has to prove to the defense that he can put pressure on the secondary and push the ball down the field.
Yeah, I can't. I would love to pick a different Eye of the Hurricane, but it really is Beck for everything that you pointed to. Yeah, there's no other way. We knew that this team was going to be ride or die at the quarterback position. We just needed a quarterback that can make the right plays, be smart, be that game manager we need, and we need him to have his confidence back. But because if you look around the rest of our roster and the rest of our starting offense, defensive, everybody is playing well and executing and doing their jobs. And it's not like Carson Beck isn't, but he is the most important position on the field. So he has to just be a step above everybody else. And yeah, we need the Carson Beck that we saw the first 5 games of the season for sure. Carson Beck, Eye of the Hurricane, get it done.
Get it done.
God. Oh, I'm missing this game completely.
Are you?
I'm in a play. And so I will be at the theater throughout the entire game. So I'm so mad about the noon kickoff. It's going to be one of those games that I'm hoping, when I'm just following it on my phone and just refreshing, checking the score, that I just see a nice, comfortable lead. Like, because if it's curtains up and we're down a couple scores, how am I supposed to focus on my role? How am I supposed to get into character? Good God.
I mean,
we'll see.
It's interesting too. Like, I mean, SMU, when they hosted Stanford a few weeks ago, right? They really got outplayed. I mean, they needed a second half to pull away against Stanford too, and a couple turnovers. And listen, it's not the transitive property doesn't work every time in college football. It certainly doesn't mean that the game doesn't need to be played. But listen, I think Carson Beck, he still has the experience going on the road. This isn't going to be Doak Campbell Stadium at 8:00 p.m. on a Saturday, and I'm just, listen, it's not wrong to expect either for, I'd like to see the defense maybe give us a little bit of a jump start here and get out and get a turnover early as well. I think that's the only thing. If I could nitpick the defense at all, it's like I would probably like to see a few more turnovers. But all in all, like we've talked about, like Corey Heatherman's unit has been absolutely outstanding. I mean, we're rising into the top 12 in every single category nationally with this defense. And so I just want to see us get on them early and put some pressure on SMU.
Yeah, it's a good point on the turnovers. We are turnover margin number 34 in the country, takeaways a game number 33 in the country. Yes, you'd like to see those numbers start creeping back in towards the top 25. And I will say the games, like I think back to Florida, when we get the stop, we score, we stop, like we get a stop, and just already it's like, okay, now we're up 7-0. That's where Miami's like, when it sounds so small, but it's like when we can take a 7-0 lead and then get the ball back to our offense of the 7-0 lead, it's huge for just the way that we execute. So I do agree. It's like, I know that these teams have unbelievable scripts for us in these first drives, and they're throwing things that we've never seen, and they're emptying their bag, and it's going to be tough. First quarters in these Miami games are going to be tough. Like we're getting everything teams have. We're getting all the emotion they have. So you kind of do have to weather the storm in those first quarters. But if we can start a little faster, that would be huge. Okay, well, let's get into lock of the week then. And again, this week, Thursday morning, we'll be dropping a little. I think it's Jimmy on the schedule this week. God knows he won't do it. So I think I'll be dropping a little SMU prep, a little more in depth, about 20, 30 minutes on SMU. That'll be Thursday morning. We'll have that for you. But big week. A lot ahead of us. Whole season in front of us. I'm exhausted. All right. Let's get into lock of the week. Recap of last week. I went a little different when FIU. I'm never betting FIU ever again. They've never won for me. They are the saddest team ever when I put any sort of wager on them, and they're in their Vice uniforms, and the whole scene was pathetic against Kennesaw State.
Weekday CUSA. Actually.
Oh, Tuesday night, mind you. Tuesday night college football. Crazy. So lost that. Jimmy had Auburn -1.5 at Arkansas. Nice, easy cover there. Arkansas is not good. Yeah. And Kurt, Texas A&M -2.5 at LSU. Kurt got Brian Kelly fired with that pick. So Kurt gets the win as well. So I am 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm 6-3 on the year. Jimmy is 5-5, and Kurt is 6-4. All right, tight little race.
Mm-hmm.
Who we got this week? Who is your lock of the week?
Lock of the week. I'm always hesitant to feel like I'm piling on with a rival here and sort of smelling blood, but I just. Off of what we've seen from Florida State and how that they have or maybe haven't responded to Mike Norvell, it's just really difficult for me to think that they're 7.5 point favorites against Wake Forest. Wake Forest is 5-2. They've won 3 games in a row. Honestly, like, I'm surprised that Robbie Ashford, Wake Forest quarterback, was at Auburn, and I'm surprised to see it. But listen, I mean, this is a team they're playing good defense. I can get a touchdown against the Florida State Seminoles. I mean, I just feel like I have to, right? I mean, this team they're going to have to prove to me that they can win another game. I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at. It's like, I will happily take that. And, I feel like Wake Forest on the money line is even like kind of intriguing here, but I'll take Wake Forest at +7.5 going to Tallahassee.
Wow. Now here's the thing. Well, first of all, yeah, that game's at FSU, but based on Reddit boards, it seems like there are a lot of fans that are going to that game simply to boo Mike Norvell. So it will be an interesting home atmosphere.
Yeah.
Answer me
It's
this.
a night game,
If
too.
Florida State, is it a night game?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I can watch that. Gosh, I've just been thoroughly enjoying the hate watching this year. If Florida State loses that game, I know what the statement they've made with Mike Norvell. If Florida State loses at home to Wake Forest coming off a bye week, there's no way he keeps his job, right? You just like
I don't think
know.
so. I think college football right now is getting to the point where I think some of these schools and fan bases are starting to be like, we got to get rid of our coach and we better get one of these good options here pretty soon, or we're going to miss out, and we're going to have to be, we're stuck with that's. I have to think that factored in to the LSU thing, because
100%.
again, like, I'm not saying I'm not a Brian Kelly fan by any means. I joked about the crane last week on the podcast,
Yeah. Which why did you just bring that up? Because I saw it everywhere last week.
Honestly,
did I miss something? Was it an anniversary?
That's been one of my favorite jokes of mine for a while. People have just forgotten that Brian Kelly sent a kid to watch film in a crane in 70-mile-an-hour wind. But I think it's going to get too hot. I just think the fan reaction is going to get too hot. It's going to get toxic in Tallahassee. And I think that FOMO of missing out on one of these big time coaches, I just think it's going to start to eat these boosters and athletic departments, and the governor got involved in the Louisiana thing. I just think it's going to start to eat people alive, and like, we got to figure this out. We got to find somebody. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think whether they keep him or not, it's going to go toxic fast. And now Gus is involved with that. What a disaster.
Now with social media and just it gets toxic very fast, and it's very hard to avoid. But yeah, Brian Kelly, 10-4, 10-3, 9-4, and then he was 5-3 this season. Like, that typically is not getting you fired this quickly. But here we are. Okay, Jimmy's lock of the week is he's got Florida plus 7.5 versus Georgia. Jimmy's our little Gator now. He's doing the firing coach bump that teams get and all the emotion that comes with that. We're not sure about Georgia. I could see it happening. I get it. Yeah. It's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick, Jimmy. And then
it's just, I've got it's like low-hanging fruit. You gotta, come on.
I've got Cal plus 3.5 at Virginia, solely because the magic of Virginia, it's got to end. It's ridiculous at this point. Like,
it really,
they have to loot. They haven't lost an ACC game at this point. I mean, they lost to NC State. That didn't count as an ACC game. That was the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's like
North Carolina went regardless. For 2. It was an ugly game. That's
regardless of what Cal is. I don't. Cal got ran all over by Virginia Tech, but Virginia can't win another ACC game.
Yeah, isn't it fun? It's funny how perception works, right? Because, here you've got Miami who loses ultimately a close game to Louisville, and you've got a Virginia team that, again, it's like we're talking like they lose to NC State, who's not very good, and then they squeak by North Carolina. They're squeaking by these teams, squeaking
by everybody,
and not looking like ultimately very impressive. Squeaking by Florida State, and it's just like, but the narrative, it's like Virginia's everyone's darling, this season. I guess.
Right.
That's just – and Georgia Tech's in the same boat. Georgia Tech is undefeated, okay? That you don't take anything away from that. But, like, they squeaked by Colorado. They squeaked by Clemson. And who
Right. That's what I'm saying is these teams got to
they
start
beat Wake
losing.
Forest. They beat Wake Forest by 1 point. So it's just I
Yeah.
just, it's just something I wanted to get off my chest. It's just the conversation is always different surrounding Miami. And maybe we're part of the problem too, because again, we covered against Stanford, and we're it's the end of the world. But yeah, it's different though, right? I mean, clearly it's
100%.
like the narrative is very different.
Also, how in the world does Louisville not play either Virginia or Georgia Tech? How do none of these teams play each other?
This
it's
conference
madness.
thing is ridiculous.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the perception's crazy, dude. Alabama.
Oh,
Let us not forget that they lost to Florida State. Okay, just remind everyone. Alabama then should have lost. Was absolutely on the ropes against a bad South Carolina team.
Yep.
And
bad.
they got
bad.
They got so lucky. South Carolina had a horrible fumble at the end, and Alabama ends up winning.
Yep.
But it's Alabama, like, they dream seasonal, like they're the best in the world, blah blah blah. It's crazy, the perception. How about this? So Miami drops a point in the AP poll rankings for covering against Stanford, beating them 42-7. Texas should have lost to Mississippi State. They needed a miracle comeback in the fourth quarter to beat a terrible Mississippi State team. Texas moves up 2 spots in the rankings. I'm done. They moved up 2 spots. I'm done with it.
I wanted Texas. Okay, if it wasn't for the logo and it wasn't for the conference, Texas shouldn't be ranked at all.
No. Who have they beaten?
This is squeaking by Kentucky and Mississippi State.
Yes.
Is moving them back into the top 25. And the Oklahoma game is the best they've looked, and they didn't even look good on offense in that game. It was all defense. Yeah. And Mateer had
Oklahoma's
that
not very
weird
good.
thumb thing, and it was his worst game of the season.
Yeah. It's just
the Texas thing is a joke. I didn't know they moved. So they're number 20. Are they number 20 now, I guess?
Yeah, number 20. They
that is
bumped up 2 spots.
Unbelievable. I thought they should have dropped out of the top 25.
So Miami drops a spot for blowing out Stanford, and Texas moves. Whatever. Just freaking win, I guess. So stupid.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We win. We're in.
Okay. Let's wrap it up a little. Best of X. Actually, first we do have to pick the Miami SMU score. Final prediction. Miami versus SMU, 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time. Prime time. Finally playing in the daylight.
Yeah.
Hopefully our players are prepared for the sun.
The sun, yeah. We were primetime Canes there for a while. And ESPN loves us, don't they?
Oh, this was another one. This was another fun thing. I believe it was it wasn't Heather Dinich. Maybe it was Heather Dinich. Somebody wrote Miami, who is tied with Stanford at half, but was able to pull away to avoid what would have been a horrific loss. That's how they worded it. Like, okay. What are you talking about? You could say that about any game. Be like, they ended up crushing a team that if they had lost to would have been a horrible loss. ESPN basically worded it like, we almost lost that game.
Wow.
Whatever.
Wow. That is
all right, final score.
Shocking. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little nervous here, and I really, I know, I'm confident that we're gonna win. I was curious. I truly had no idea what the line was gonna be, what it was gonna open at. 10.5 tells me that Vegas still has confidence in the Canes. Some of the guys in the business that I respect and follow, Miami has held steady or even improved in their power rankings. And I think it's because of the defense, and I think that's just what's going to carry us on here. So listen, I think that we're going to win, but I need to see more. I need to get that feeling and that confidence back in the offense, the one that I saw up until, for the first 3 quarters of the Florida State game. The one that just has its foot on the gas and looks like the guys are playing loose and having fun. And it starts with the quarterback. And I need to see Carson Beck pull his head out of his rear end here and play better. But I'm gonna go 26-20 Miami Hurricanes in a game that's gonna be a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, see, that's a score I simply can't have with not being able to watch it and being in this show. That would, I can't have this be a 1-score game. Yeah, I don't know. The reason I'm nervous, I think, is more to do with, I like everything we talked about with Beck. I do just get nervous with an important game like this, where it's just like, this is a game that just Miami has to win, step up, got to get it done. The rest of your schedule looks extremely favorable, so you just got to go into SMU and beat a team that you're better than. And it sounds easy to say, but it seems like every time we say that, bad things happen. But it's just, got to do it. 33-20 Canes. Win by 13. Gosh, I'd be so happy with that. 33-20, how happy would we be? I'd be very happy.
I think I want to see some style points, and I want to see, I think it's still SMU's name, and credit to Rhett Lashley, but it still has some cachet to it. It would still be like, we put 30 on SMU and win by multiple scores. I think it's still one that gets us some eyes. But really, I mean, it's the theme of the season is parity, right? And it's about survival. A lot of teams. I mean, every Saturday you turn it on and it's like, wow,
it is hard to win.
Crazy.
It really is, especially as we get later into the season.
Yep. So go on the road and listen. Just go on the road and get a win, man.
Come on. All right. Best of X. You got anything?
I do. I got, I think one of my favorite statistics that I saw so far, and I say favorite sort of, I'm being sort of tongue in cheek here, but it goes back to what I want to see from Carson Beck. And again, having the confidence in the receiving core and the running backs we have, and then you throw this in there. This is updated lowest pressure rate allowed this season. Number 1 in the country, Miami, 15.7%. Number 2 is Ohio State, 20.8.
Whoa.
5% better. We're in the clear. Yeah. Lowest pressure rate allowed this year. And it's like, again, I would use it as a discouragement for Carson Beck, but when we talk about Mario Cristobal and having confidence in our coach and what our coach is doing and how he's building this program out, I mean, that's freaking impressive, man. That's all him. That's all him and Mirabal right there.
Yeah, and like we've said so many times, the parts of our team that are really good is the core. It's like the stuff that you can build on and is consistent and sustainable year after year, and that's what Mario Cristobal's been building, Jimmy. I'm going to go with my best of X. So the SEC's been big on hypothetical victories and hypothetical games. Lane Kiffin, when asked to give advice to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, Lane Kiffin says, and quote, "What would Vegas do? They're the best at what they do by far, way better than any committee, way better than anybody." Well, somebody, number 14, Vader Red at Vader Red, said Vegas would have had Penn State versus Texas in the national championship at the start of the year. So it's like we play the games for a reason, Lane.
Yep.
I'm sick of the SEC saying, Kurt gone, and he's back. Oh, Kurt's gone. I'm going to continue my thought while Kurt jumps back on, even though we're wrapping up here. But sick and tired of saying that the SEC. Oh, good. Sick and tired of hearing that the SEC is saying we would beat this team. Like, if we played today, we would beat them. Who would win? Even if it's like, oh, Texas and Georgia Tech played, who would probably win that game? It doesn't matter. Georgia Tech's won all their games. Texas, you haven't. I do not care about hypotheticals. We play the games for a reason, SEC.
Yeah.
Gross.
I agree.
What a gross conference. God, I can't stand them. Okay,
I got
that's
one
our
more.
show.
I got one more for you.
Yes, sir.
It's a defensive one. And
okay.
This one comes from Kane's chief. Stanford had 74 yards, 4 first downs, 7 points on their first drive. 70 yards, 4 first downs, 0 points the rest of the game. The defense had 20 pressures, 12 hurries, 4 PBUs, 2 sacks, 2 turnovers, 6 TFLs. And again, Stanford's offense had put up some numbers. The last part says, for reference, Stanford had 321 yards against Virginia, 353 yards against SMU, and almost 400 yards against Boston College. So I think, listen, I love the in-depth stats, and I think both sides of the ball, this is a team. This is why it's about execution. We got the talent, we got the coaching, just got to execute. Yeah. So I want to see us get back to that fun, dominant football.
Yeah. Once Bain was able to get in the backfield every single play. It seemed like they were just wreaking havoc in the backfield. I don't know if Stanford crossed the 50 until the fourth quarter when our literal third string defense was in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was pure domination on that side of the ball. And, hey, defense travels. We're going to need it to travel to SMU. That's our show. Again, we'll be back Thursday morning Thursday morning for a little in-depth SMU prep. But, yeah, everyone enjoy your week. Don't let social media tell you otherwise. Everything's ahead of us. There's a lot of promising things happening. We're 6-1. We control our own destiny, the college football playoff. Let's get it done.
Still one of the best teams in the country.
Yep.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. That's all there is to it. All right. Everyone have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. Jimmy, hope you pass that test, man. Go Canes.